Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles, to our elders, to our teachers of Great Millstone, for teaching us this truth to rule well. And this is going to be a part 4. Part 3 was cut off, as I was making the video. Satan always working his power, exercising his power, but let's just get started. I had part 3, I had talked about the this article that I had been reading, all right, and it had said, and it had talked about Donald Trump. It was talking about America, all right. It's talking about the other nations, and it was talking about everything as a whole. So like it. Turn on my lights. So I'm gonna read it again, and then I'll go back into Revelations 18, and then Revelations 19 I'll jump into after that. But this is at CNN.com. It says, then again, he might be, talking about Donald Trump. It says Europe has to have a long hard think about what the implications of a second term could be. All right, a second Trump term could be. It says 4 more years, sure. All right, because every term is a year. And you can only, as a president of the United States, you can only be elected for 2 terms. President Obama, he did his first 4, and then he was re-elected as president, and he did another 4. And then it was President Trump. He did his 4, and now he's being re-elected. All right, to do possibly be re-elected, more than likely. If not, then there's just going to be another devil that's going to be set up in his place. But President Trump is the one that's been, leading us faster into destruction, man. And it's beautiful. All right, so like Elder Tahar says, hopefully Donald Trump does get elected again, not because he's a good guy, all right, but the exact opposite, because of the destruction that he's going to be bringing. So Salaki, I'm driving, so let me read that part. It says 4 more years, sure, but what would it mean for the long term? All right, so not just talking about the 4 years that he's serving, all right, but in a wider sense, all right, in a larger spectrum, all right, they're talking about the impact that Donald Trump is having on these other nations, the impact that Donald Trump is having and leaving his mark in America, all right, how he's leading everything closer to destruction. He's leaving it worse than he found it. And what do they say? One of the successful quotes, you have a successful quote that says, you come into this earth, you leave it better than you found it. That's how you measure success in a person. And in reality, the only people that are going to leave this earth better than when they found it are the prophets. All right, starting from Yahweh, starting from Yahweh and Yahweh Shai down to the elect. They're going to leave this earth better than they found it. Why? Because they would have spread the seeds of wisdom. And at the end, this place is going to be burnt up anyways. This whole earth is going to be burnt up, but the earth isn't going to pass away, man. All right, as a whole, the earth is going to remain. And then life is going to be recreated again here on earth. All right, you have the Most High did not make any accidents, man. The sunflower seed is a type of flower that absorbs radiation. All right, the sunflower seed absorbs radiation. It's used for 3 different things. I forget the third one, but one of them is for food. All right, you can eat sunflower seeds. And another one is for absorbing radiation. All right, I forget the term also that you use for, something that is used for three things, So the Most High already knows, man. He's going to end up cleaning up the radiation, and the radiation will be cleaned, But America, which is Babylon, is going to be utterly and completely wasted, man. It's going to be a wasteland, You're only going to have wasteland animals living here in America. Desert-like animals, man. That's the future for Babylon, So it says, but what would it mean for the long term? Politics of the most powerful nation on earth. Look at that. You see? And you have people saying that, no, America's great, but it's not Babylon. All right, Babylon is the whole system of the earth, but they don't understand the scriptures, man, because the scriptures talk about, all right, the nations hating the great whore being destroyed, and the nations bewailing bewailing Babylon, all right, because they were made rich in her, It talks about a separation, man. The great whore is not the beast. You have the beast system, all right, and then you have the great whore, which is a part of the beast system, It's lucky. All right, it says politics of the most powerful nation on earth. And can America ever go back to how it was before? Which was how? How was America ever successful? By putting Jakes into slavery, man. Mainly Judah. All right, Judah was the main one, But you also have the Benjamin and Levi, and you have the Latin tribes that also went into slavery. All right, that also had to give up their land, that also had to give up resources, and that's how America was made great, rich, and they call it manifest destiny. All right, and that term manifest destiny, basically how they felt was that the Most High was dealing with them, all right, to conquer these lands. That the Most High was dealing with them, and he was fighting for them, all right, to destroy these other nations that ever came up against it. And you have Christians truly believing that, man. You have people really believing that Babylon the Great, all right, that America is really being fought for by the Most High, man. But this article right here on CNN clearly shows you who is in power. America. All right, America's in power. You see? So before I even continue in Revelations 18, let me get 2nd Esdras. I'll come back to 13. Let me get 2nd Esdras chapter 6. And verse 9. Go straight to the point. All right. It says, for Esau is the end of the world. Now, who was going to end in the world? All right. Babylon the Great. You see? And then these other nations with the UN. All right. NATO. The EU. You see? These United Nations. All right. They're trying to come up against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. But first, the destruction of the great whore has to come. So yeah, the end of the world is coming. But there's also things that are going to follow before it does. People are waiting for those signs, man. They're waiting for those signs. They're waiting for that beautiful testimony that they want to hear, that they've made up in their head, thinking it's going to be peace, love, and prosperity, thinking it's going to be all beautiful and sunshine and rainbows and butterflies and shit, not realizing that the dark sayings of the scripture is really what's going to save you, man. The fear of the Lord is what's going to save you. So it says, that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. You know? So that thing that follows is what? The kingdom of heaven. You know? So that means Babylon the Great is Esau Edom's rulership, man. You know? And that's just straight, point blank, period. It is what it is. If you don't like it, then good. You know? You can continue doing whatever the hell you want to do. But at the end of the day, the scripture is true, man. And we believe the scripture to be true. We have faith that the scripture is true, man. We have faith that we are the Israelites. All right? We have faith that World War III is boiling right now. We have faith that we are the prophets. You know? So in Revelations 18 and 10, it says, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is her judgment come, is thy judgment come. All right. Now, what did it say? What did Yahweh say in Revelations 18? Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins. You know? And I wonder why, man. You know? Because this place is wicked. Spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. All right? Spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. So it says, I think that was it on that. Let me see, Salakia. I'm trying to drive over here. So let me, you know what? Yeah, let me go back to 2nd Ezra 13. And start from verse 1. And it says, 2nd Ezra 13 and 1. And it came to pass, after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose among the wind of the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld. Now, the sea can represent the skies. All right. I believe in the Hebrew it's what was it? Shemai for water, and or Mayam. I believe it was Mayam for water, and for the skies or the heavens, it would be Shemayim. You know. But the water can represent, you know, the nations. It can represent tongues, kindreds, you know, mainly nations. And it could also literally represent the waters, you know. It could represent the sky. It could represent this word, you know. So you have to apply it according to the context that you're reading it. All right. But it says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And he turned his countenance to look, and all things trembled that were seen under him. All right. So when this man comes back, which is Yahweh Shai, all right, when he comes back, everybody's gonna tremble under him, man. When he cracks them skies, all right, when he cracks the skies open and he comes back, people are gonna tremble, you know. They're gonna be sore afraid. Some people's hearts are gonna fail them by how afraid they are, you know. Men's hearts failing them, man. And that's something terrible that the Most High is gonna allow, you know. People being possessed by demons, people being hurt by animals, all this stuff has been permitted by the Most High, you know. So it says, verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. All right. So everybody's gonna be burnt up, man. Destroyed, you know. desolate. You know, but the reason why I got 2nd Ezra 13 is coming up. But it says verse 5, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the 4 winds out of the heaven, all right, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. All right, so when Yahushua comes back, it's going to look like a, you know, they portray movies, alien invasions, all right, Battle of LA, you know. It's going to be something similar to that, man. People are going to be fucking afraid, you know. They're going to be afraid, yet durst fight, all right. They're still going to fight either way, you know, fighting for their lives, not realizing that they're fulfilling prophecy by coming up against Yahweh being the Most High and Yahushua being the leader of the Israelites, you know, because everything was given unto Yahushua. So when Yahushua comes back, he's coming back with what people call UFOs, all right, and they're going to be looking at him and in fear, and they're going to gather themselves together, and they're going to try and fight, subdue Yahushua. You see, it says, verse 6, and I beheld, and lo, he gave himself a great mountain and flew upon it. All right, but I would not have seen the region or place where the hill was graven, and I could not. All right, so Ezra couldn't see where the mountain was at. You see, he couldn't see where it was graven at, you know, where it was built upon, because it was up in the sky. It looked like a mountain. It was huge, you know, so it looked like a huge mountain, but it's a so-called UFO, you know. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. You see, because it's going to come after the destruction of Babylon. Then it's going to come these nations trying to come up together and subdue Yahushua, you know, and also the salvation of the saints. You see, so there's a lot of things that are going to be playing out, man. I don't know if any brother has seen the movie Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. All right, but he knows how to fight in the martial arts of what is it called? Salaki, it's slipping my mind right now. Damn, Bruce Lee was taught in that art. Wing Chun. Salakia. It was Wing Chun, you know. So Robert Downey Jr. knows Wing Chun in that movie, or in reality also, but in that movie he was using Wing Chun. All right, and he was coming up against this dude, and in slow motion it was very detailed of what he was going to do next. All right, in his mind he already set everything up, you know, saying that he was gonna lose that man's focus, you know, by throwing this napkin, and then he was gonna hit him in the jaw, you know, to dislocate the jaw, and then he was gonna hit him in the rib, all right, and then he was gonna hit him back up in the jaw, you know, and then he was gonna punch him on the stomach, you know. So he played everything out in his mind first, and then after he did that, it played it in regular motion, you know. It wasn't in slow motion. In slow motion, it was incredibly detailed of everything he was gonna do, and everything that he set out to do. As it was going in slow motion, you're like, damn, that's a lot of stuff that he's gonna be doing, you know. He's gonna throw a punch here, throw a punch there, he's gonna do this, he's gonna completely dislocate the jaw, you know, he's gonna crack some ribs. So you're looking at it in regular motion, and it was literally just 2 seconds. 2 seconds, all those things simultaneously just happened, and you didn't even know which one was. You know, you're trying to look out for when he dislocates his jaw. You couldn't even tell, man. Everything happened just so fast, and then eventually he just kicks him in the chest and that dude goes flying off. You know, that's how the Most High is going to do it, man. You're not going to know from whence it came, like it says in Isaiah 47. You know, all of these things are going to come upon you, man. Destruction, death, famine, everything. It's inevitable. You know, but back in 2nd Ezra 13 and 9, it says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. All right, so that spaceship is just going to be sitting right there, looking at everybody trying to come up against him. It says, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and a tempest. All right, so it's a laser beam, all right, that's gonna come out of the UFO. You know, it's gonna be laser beams, man. So verse 11 says, and they were all mixed together. You see, because that's the laser beam. A laser beam is extremely powerful. You know, you have it in the movie Star Wars, all right, where you have the laser beam cannons. All right, they have laser beams, the Star Killer base. You have the laser beam that goes into other planets and destroys them completely. You know, you have the Star Destroyers, which have laser cannons. All right, and completely wipe out ships like nothing. You know, they all got that from the scriptures. You know, the movie Matrix, with Neo flying, being the chosen one, you know, coming down into the Matrix, saving people. Hey, they got that from the scriptures as well. You know, Esau knows, man. Esau knows the things that are going to fall upon him. You know, he knows these things. And that's what he's trying to prevent. You know, he's trying to make it as crazy as possible so that whoever talks about it looks like a damn fool. All right, but like Yahweh Shem Yahushai says, and like the apostle had said, you know, like the apostles have said, we are fools for Yahweh's sake. You know? So verse 11, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell the violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight. You see, so those people that are going to come up against Yahweh Shem Yahushai, they're going to get destroyed too, man. You know, it says, and burn up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right, because it's a terrible sight to see, man. You know, imagine you have a vision right now, and you're standing in the place that you're standing in, here in Babylon, America. All right, and in that vision, you recognize the place that you're in, but you're looking around you and it's nothing but fire, destruction, all right, blown up cars, and it won't even be fire, man. It'll just be darkness, you know, really. That's really what it's going to be, just darkness, you know, aftermath of fire, but it's going to be darkness, desolateness, you know. You're going to hear people crying. You're looking around you, everything is pitch black, you know. Electricity's off, it's gone. You see? And the only thing that you can see when you look up is a bunch of UFOs, man. What you call UFOs, which are really the chariots of Israel, according to the scriptures, you know. So people are going to be afraid, man. They're going to try to figure out what they can do. And the people that are going to come together to subdue Yahweh Shai, to go to war with him, you're just going to see a bunch of laser beams and, you know, cannons just blasting out of the chariots, man. Knocking all these things down, destroying them. You know? And the only thing you're going to be able to smell or see or touch or feel is just a bunch of smoke, smell of burning flesh. That's a terrible sight to see, man. You know, people want to puff themselves up and say, oh man, when that time comes, you know, I'm going to be ready. I have my guns, and I have my knives, and I have my swords, and I have this, and that. But when that time comes, man, the Most High is going to make your knees buckle. All right? The Most High has that much power. Nobody has ever resisted his will. If he has deemed you to be a prophet, then guess what? You're going to be a prophet even if you don't want to be a prophet. You know? It's happened before. Even when you're afraid to be a prophet, he's going to make you a prophet. You know? Even when you're afraid to lead people, he's going to make you a leader. That's just how the Most High is, man. And he does all his good pleasure. All. Capital A, capital L, capital L. All his good pleasure. You know? So nothing we say to stand up against the Most High really is of any effect. You know? It says, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared. All right, which was prepared to fight. They were ready to fight, man. They were afraid, but they were ready. You know, it says, and burned up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude. All right. Right now I'm driving here in traffic and I see a shitload of people, man. A shitload of people. So imagine seeing all these shitload of people, all right, in ships, you know, coming up against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And upon a snap, a single second, man, like a Thanos second, you know, when he snapped his finger, everything was just poof, bunch of smoke, you know, nothing. Out of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. Why? Because they were all destroyed. All right. It says, but only I saw dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. You have that in that movie, War of the Worlds, I believe it's called. I want to say it's War of the Worlds. You know, with man, what's that guy's name? I think he's the actor from Mission Impossible. I forgot his name, you know. But in that movie War of the Worlds, they have you know, this like tripod looking, you know, machine, and he's shooting laser beams, and when it shoots it at a person, they just evaporate, man. You know, they just completely evaporate, and then they turn to ash. You know, just completely in a second, just gone. You know, it's a terrible sight, man. Terrible sight. But it says, when I saw this, I was afraid. Verse 12, afterward saw I the same man come down from the mountain and call unto another peaceable multitude. You see, so simultaneously as all these things are happening, the death of Babylon, all right, the death of these nations that are going to try and come up, you know, in a rulership, the death of, you know, their democracy, of whatever the hell they want to, you know, publish in this world, you know, the death of this society itself, man, as a whole. You know, it says he's going to call unto himself another peaceable multitude. All right. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad. All right. Some were glad, which are who? The prophets. And some were sorry. All right. Which can also be the prophets. It says, and some of them were bound, and others some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said, thou hast showed thy servant these wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. All right. And now we're being found worthy, man. Lord willing, I'm part of that number, and Lord willing, the brothers are part of that number. All right. But we're being found worthy because these revelations are being revealed unto us. All right. These scriptures are being revealed. You know, they're becoming revelations. And we're starting to tie them in with Revelations 12, so like your Revelations 18, Isaiah 47, you know, which is all talking about war, death, destruction, famine, you know, the famine of the word that's coming. That also has to be here, man, before World War III. You know, famine of the word, the persecution of the saints. There's a lot of things that still have to play out here on earth, man. But the inevitable is the destruction that is coming, man. You know, the judgment that is coming. And the kingdom that's coming. You know? So let me go to Revelations 19 now. Revelations 19 and 19. And it says, and I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. You see, so that's the same thing we just read in 2nd Ezra. You know, same thing we just read in 2nd Ezra 13. When people, the kings of the earth, they're going to try and come up together and come up against Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says, and the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone, which is not hell, because hell and death were also cast into the lake of fire. It says, and the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse. Check that out. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with flesh. All right. So all the fowls of the earth, they were filled with flesh. Why? Because they had something to eat. All right. And that sword that proceeded out of his mouth is that laser beam that comes out of the ship. You know? So all these things are written for our learning, man, as the scripture says. You know? So World War III is inevitable. Because I've heard so much that people say, oh man, World War III ain't coming. It ain't coming. It just seems like it is, and Donald Trump will find a way, or the world will find a way. No, man, the Most High orchestrates everything. All right? He's on top of everything. And he said it already through the scriptures that there is going to be a time of death, man. There is going to be a time of mourning. You know? Where the earth is going to shake, reel to and fro like a drunkard. You see? So let me go back to 2nd Ezra. And I'm going to go to the very last. I'm going to start off at verse 53. This is the interpretation of the dream which thou sawest, and whereby thou only art here enlightened. For thou hast forsaken thine own way, and applied thy diligence unto my law, and sought it. You see, so that's how you seek redemption. That's how you seek life, by the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, by the law of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You know, verse 55, thy life hast thou ordered in wisdom, and hast called understanding thy mother. And therefore have I showed thee the treasures of the highest. After other 3 days I will speak other things unto thee, and declare unto thee mighty and wondrous things. Then went I forth into the field, giving praise and thanks greatly unto the Most High Yahweh, because of his wonders which he did in time. All right, which he did in time. See, so Ezra is saying, you know, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, for what you already did in the future. All right, because these things are already going to happen, man. These things already happened. So like, if these things are not just going to happen, these things already happened. You know, through the spirit, through the scriptures, everything is written, man. And like it says in the book of Ezra also, all right, Ezra saw the people that were being crowned, the elect that were being crowned by Yahushai. You know, so he already saw who's going to get saved, man. He already saw the people, the elect being saved, being crowned. And that's something that today has not happened yet, but through His Spirit it has already happened. The Most High has declared it, the end from the beginning, man. You know? So let me read that last part again. All right. Greatly, all right, praise and thanks greatly unto the Most High Yahweh because of His wonders which He did in time. You see that? Which He did in time. I love that, man. All right. The wonders that He already did in the future. You know? Verse 58, and because He governeth the same and such things as fall in their seasons, and there I sat 3 days. You know? So Yahweh Shai is coming back, man. So what are we out to do? Hey, we ought to do what we're supposed to do. You know? And constantly give thanks unto Yahweh Shai. So I'm going to end it with Luke 21 and 26. Luke 21 and 26. All right, I made mention of this earlier. It says, men's hearts filling them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. All right, men's hearts filling them for fear for the things that are coming upon the earth, man. When you look up, some are going to look up for their salvation because their salvation is near, as Scripture says, and some are going to look up and their hearts are going to tremble. Their hearts are going to fail. You know, their knees are going to buckle. People are going to get heart attacks, man. That's crazy. The Most High is declaring it. You know, it's like whenever you come up against somebody, you know, say you're playing basketball one-on-one, all right, or you're going on a one-on-one, you know, little soccer shootout, penalties, you know, and, you know, you're talking trash like Kobe Bryant. He would talk trash to his players or to his opponents going up against him, and then he would back it up by beating them every single time. Same thing with Michael Jordan. You know, you have some goalkeepers that are specialized in penalties and reading the body. So they'll trash talk the player to get them in, to get inside of their head and get them out of the game. And they'll even point to where they're going to shoot, knowing that they're in that player's head already. That player's going to be like, all right, I'm going to make it right there just so you can shut your mouth. And he'll shoot it right there and he'll stop it because he was inside of that man's mind. You know? That's how the Most High is, man. But the Most High can back it up every single time, 100%. And He's telling you, nations, you're going to be destroyed. And He's telling you, you elect out there, you brothers, He's telling you, you're going to be okay, man. You're going to be safe. Trust in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. So I hope that was edifying. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Wadash, and double honors to our apostles and our elders of Great Millstone for teaching us His truth to rule well. Shalom, and stay strong out there. Shalom.